And hello again, you very, very patient Go players. I have not put out a video in quite some time, and I've only had marginal anger directed at me because of it. But never fear, I have another game for you guys in my lovely How to Study Professional Games series, and this is not going to be the usual game that I actually bring you. Usually I would go with a Chinese or a Korean player. We are going to be doing neither of those. We are in fact going to be doing two Japanese players, and a Japanese player that almost everyone is going to recognize because it is none other than Shusaku. Confession time, I've actually never really reviewed any of his games, so this may be as new to you as it is to me. Hopefully, we will all be able to learn something from these games. Shusaku is black in this game and opens up normally. Nothing unusual happens. I check every game I go over to make certain no one spontaneously plays Tengen and thus pisses me off on camera. Double 3-4 opening says that we may just be interested in territory, which is not a surprise. Rumor has it they were very much into territory back in the day, not really into the whole fast frameworks and influence that we may expect to be more normal nowadays. I have heard back then it was all about the territory. And white seems to be all about the approaching. Okay. Alright, so black has options. There's a corner available. There's a corner to approach. There's now a corner to respond to. And there's a corner to enclose. Hard to say what he's gonna go for. I would take another corner. Taking a corner, responding, or I think even approaching or enclosing are all acceptable moves to play here, though. What do you do, Mr. Shusaku? Alright, he encloses. I think nowadays we would, whoops, not put our stone off the board. I think nowadays we would probably definitely take the open corner rather than enclosing. Could be wrong about that, but that's typically what I see. But then again, typically I don't even see the approach over here. I usually see the approach in the top instead. But alright. How is white going to respond? Let's see, black enclosed. So, not a lot of pressure here. We could take the corner still. Probably not the 4-4 in this era. Maybe an enclosure, or maybe a third line stone. But they're all about territory, aren't they? So maybe he doesn't want him to get a pincer that works well with the enclosure. Maybe we're going to see something like this. Back off. Take a large point. Okay, almost. He actually goes as far over as humanly possible. Wow. That's pretty bold. But it's not a random stone either. Like, I had suggested this one, right? Okay, sure, why not? But you can see this is about as aggressive as you can get and still ensure that you have space for a 2-space extension. So, if our opponent decides to play in here somewhere, this stone can still look after itself. Our approaching stone has the cornerstone to lean on, and the stone that we extended from can still get a base. So, very deliberate there. I would expect a pincer. I would expect this to be attacked nowadays. What do we see here? Oh, wow. we actually see black back off. That's a bit unusual. Even the move itself is a bit unusual, because we can still attach here as white. Sometimes I see the diagonal just to ensure that that attaching move is more unlikely to be played. But alright. Putting a little bit of pressure on here, but I say again, just a little bit of pressure, because we know that we can follow up. And we still know that this stone can still get a base. Alright. White says that is not enough pressure. I am going to play away. You are welcome to come in. What is black going to do as a result? Only group to attack is on the side. I mean, we could go off and approach, but that's just letting white do whatever he wants with this side. Maybe even allowing him to fix his shape later. Yeah, I think we're going to attack this. Okay, we do. Interesting choice. He's pincering quite wide. Puts a lot of pressure on this stone, even if it gets a 2-space extension, right? We're still capable of putting a lot of pressure on it because it's really tightly between our 2 strong stones, and it's only a 2-space extension, so even its base is open to harassment if we surround. So that's interesting. It looks like this stone is saying it's more interested in the other side, what's going on over here, than it is with the approaching stone, because the approaching stone can still attach to subtle, and since this is still open, it can even do something like escape. And black still needs quite a few moves in order to really kill it off completely. But white decides to settle immediately. Black Hane. Guessing that we're gonna do, yep. Okay. Oh, wow, okay. Now here's an old move for you. Black actually backs off here. That's interesting. Nowadays, we would probably Atari this without even thinking about it. And get into this result. Instead, black's actually going to back off here and allow white to settle. Okay, or not. He's going to keep pressure on him. Well, white clearly has to escape because he can't allow another move by black to be played here because this shape is not quite so good. Okay, so he escapes. Black now theoretically has Sentai, but let's see. We could take an extension here, but that's giving away Sentai. We have a weak stone. We could protect it. We could come from the other side, but then we might get attacked severely here, and that might be bad. Yeah, I don't like the idea of attacking from this side. Whoops. Attacking from this side and just potentially leaving this little stone to fend for itself. Okay, and black does jump out of there. Okay. Time to get a base, I assume. Peeps first. And we don't get a base, we actually get out of there. I guess that makes sense. If we get a base now, we're kind of just letting our opponent keep us low. That's kind of bad. if we jump up, although the pressure is clearly on these 3 stones. Alright, that makes sense. But that means these stones are still in trouble. And if these stones are still in trouble, then we can't take Sente and play away. So we need to defend them. Okay, white leans. Keeps things nicely disconnected. Well, I kind of think we have to respond to that, because the last thing that we want is to be completely surrounded. Right? That's bad. Probably don't want to push from behind either, because that could be bad. That's usually a no-no, in case anyone was wondering. So we don't want to play away and let him drop down. We don't want to push from behind. So that leaves a knight or 1 point... Okay. Because of this shape, probably a 1 point jump. Okay, yeah. 1 point jump it is. Now white's behind enemy lines. Okay, so white defends himself. Makes sense. And black decides to make shape. Okay, that's cool. He decides that he's not going to allow this group to be under attack any longer than necessary. So the bottom is fine, or this area here is fine, right? Don't have to worry about being surrounded or anything. So we can look towards our weak group. We could again play elsewhere, but then white can just keep trying to envision how to best attack this. So that'll be a headache for the rest of the game. So instead we're just going to settle. We could try and attack, as I'm sure many players want to do, but that does go back into putting pressure directly upon black, and that could be a problem too. So black just says, screw it, I'm going to settle. Cleaning stone, there we go. White does not leave any Aju behind. It's like, you have this weakness, and I'm not going to fix it for you by playing the Hane. I Hane, you get a perfect shape for yourself here, and yet white would still have the weakness. So, not fixing it for you. If you want that fixed, do it yourself. Good response. Black says, well, that is what I wanted anyway, so I'm going to fix my shape. Let's see, white has Sente now. Can't enclose, because we still have a weak group. If we enclose, then we have to figure this can live immediately if we're under attack. Or, even if it lives, we have to do it in Sente, so we can take away some of the influence we're giving away to our opponent by allowing him to completely surround us and force us to live. So have to settle. That's good shape, but slow. That leaves a point behind. I'm kind of liking the attachment. It's very Yi Sedol-like. Okay, and that's exactly what was played. He does attach to strength. Now, why is that a move? Some of you may be looking at this and thinking to yourself, that is a bad move. I have been told constantly, every time you attach that you are probably doing something bad because you are making your opponent stronger, and we do not want to do that. No, 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 no. It is wrong to make our opponent stronger. Only trouble is this is a really strong enclosure, so you're probably not making a strong enclosure any stronger than it already was. And if we can get a response from the strong enclosure that also gives us a base, why not go ahead and do so? Black responds aggressively. White responds. Black's going to fight. Not giving up the stone. Okay. Well, this is going splendidly. I guess the idea... Okay, I see. The idea here is that we're going to give up the two... probably giving up the 2 stones here in exchange for influence that we can use to get out, because then the attack will be back on black, and that'll be interesting. That could be a nice thing. Yeah, white connects. Doesn't try to do anything derpy in the corner, because even if we could live, then what happens to these stones? We would not be very happy about that at all. Black similarly connects. And then white comes out, I imagine? Yeah. And then white comes out. So, we attach to the strong stones. And in exchange for the 2, we got stronger to put the attack back on black. Okay, this makes sense. We can follow this pretty easy. Ooh, wow. Black is not going to defend. Black is actually going to expand. Now the question is, this is actually a very important part right here, because some of you may have been thinking, alright, the attack is back on black. I mean, you know, the happy little narrator just told us that that's what was happening, so I can even see that that's kind of happening. We're kind of at the edge of being behind enemy lines here, so it's time to jump out. But black didn't jump out. So how do we know when we need to jump out and when we don't need to jump out? That's an interesting question. And for that, let's take away the stone and try to imagine how we're going to surround this group in one move. Can we do it this way? Does not look like it. Can we do it this way? Again, not really looking like that's going to be possible. Can we do it from down here? No, still looks like we're out. So this group is being pressured, but it can't be surrounded in just one move. So black says that's not quite urgent enough to allow white to get it, this part of the board developed for himself. Interesting. And if anyone else that's also watching me broadcast this is having internet issues, do let me know. Alright. White comes out. See, now he's really threatening to hammer down on black's group. He's getting himself nice and strong. Because we probably wouldn't want to attack with something like this, right? Because there's a shape issue here, and there's a shape issue there. It's just not going to turn out well for us. But this, that is a strong preparation to attack. Because if we actually get a follow-up here of some kind, I mean, there's no knight to cut through. All we're doing is just, like, trying to attach through here, and that's not going to work out too well. Alright, so now black says, frack it, I'm getting out of here. Alright. Let's see. We're not quite behind enemy lines as white, right? We need more stones for black or something in order for us to feel threatened here. We're behind enemy lines here, but Jesus, we've spent so much to ensure that there's so many ways for us to get eye shape that's probably good for itself. I can't really see like an all kill move. Then again, my life and death is horrible. So I'm thinking this is Sente for white. So what to do? This is pretty large, because black would like to extend, but the top is kind of large, because he would like to extend and attack from there. Yeah, actually I think this might be larger. Because if we see on this top of the board, he can actually attack from here to build up the top, or to build up that side of the board, rather. Yeah, that could be an issue. What does white do? Oh, shoot. Okay. White says, no more attacking me, sir. Also strengthens his group. Just does aid that middle. Yeah, okay. I can see how that's definitely larger than just an enclosure. What is black going to do? I mean, he's not threatened, right? So he could play elsewhere. But if white gets to follow up... If white... Yeah. Right now this is not a solid connection. If white follows up, it might be a solid connection. So we might not actually want to let that happen. But do we really push... Do we really poke at that? Okay, we really poke at that. Huh. Oh, okay, that's interesting. There's more there than I was thinking. There's a lot more there than I was thinking. If black gets in this now, then that's cut. I mean, that's perfect spot to cut. And there's no way to defend that in Sente. Or Gote for that matter, there's just no way to defend that. Alright, that's a problem. Alright, so white defends... Okay, not with a black stone. Genius. There we go. So white defends himself. Now, do we have Sente? Or are we, like, gonna follow up and keep trying to attack this group? I feel nowadays they'd probably follow up and try and attack the group. They are bloodthirsty. Okay, this on the other hand is going to approach the corner. So we're leaving the Aji there for later. Right now, this is just a giant question mark that both players are going to have to read out. White responds nice and strong, because there's so much uncertainty going on up there. Can understand that. He's not going to pincer and create any more complication that already exists. That would be bad. And there's a move I don't see normally. It's an alright one. Does leave you vulnerable to things like the kick and the pincer, for example. The pincer looks like it would work pretty well here if we could actually get an attack on that group again. I would love to get a move in here now, if we could develop that. Okay, white says I'm going to connect. Black says then you're not going to pincer me. White says, oh, for frack's sake, are you kidding me? Well, this is what I get for not putting myself in a black and white board like I normally do. Did I just fail this that badly? The stone is out of place. The stone was actually 5-3 and not 3-4. Well, that's good. Lol. Anyway, I suppose that changes a little bit. I mean, the approach here was still large when I said it was. The options to enclose were still available when I said they were. But the direction of approach does change a little bit. Now, for example, it's been possible for white, or for black rather, to approach from the side. Even to come in here and just try and get a settle. Or go in here and potentially give some influence, or the Taisha, depending. So yeah, now white encloses. Alright, so that's something. What is black's response? Black's response is to go super aggressive and attach to it. Once again, we have a very, very strong enclosure. We have an area we can obtain for ourselves. So why not attach and get it? That makes sense. White's gonna respond, black's going to respond, white's gonna respond, black's gonna respond, I think. Are you gonna respond? You are! Oh, wow. I went too far. And I see that white actually comes in. That's interesting. I guess the most obvious option is to try and make certain that these never connect. The Atari of that stone might be a little bit too small, when considering that the follow-up might make you unhappy. Okay, so white extends instead. I had the right idea. White jumps out because we're clearly behind enemy lines. Makes white heavy. White, of course, connects. And black says you are not connecting. Alright, alright. Oh wow, now that we're surrounded, white actually goes back and ensures that he's completely safe on the bottom. Giving Sente to white, or black rather. Is black going to surround? No, black actually goes back and plays the Atari. White ignores and cuts through, it looks like. Oops, sorry. Would help if I played black's move first. There we go. There we go. Push, block, push, block. Now what? Now we cut. Okay. What do we do here? If we connect, then that allows white to get this kind of deal completely alive, and our corner is not looking completely alive. Well, that's no good. But if we don't connect, those stones are dead. I guess the stone... Yeah, I guess those stones are just gonna die. Huh. This game so far... I don't know, I'm getting a weird feeling with this game. It's so... peaceful. I think the word... I don't know. Is peaceful the right word that I'm looking for here? I don't know. I think peaceful is the word I'm looking for here. I haven't had that sense that something's really in trouble, like I do in a lot of other games. Modern games, that is. The, you know, fighting monstrosities that we are seeing a lot lately. This one kind of seems like everything is always fine. I don't know, it's kind of weird. It's definitely very, very strange. Though I only say it's strange because I'm used to, you know, looking at those fighting monstrosities. But alright, black completely encloses. White extends. Black takes his forcing moves, makes himself all nice and strong. Same thing here. Happy forcing moves. Just reducing what white has. Making sure he's not getting him reduced himself. Large corner now. White pokes. Okay, that's good. Have to respond to that. And then white tries to make his corner larger. But black says no. Okay, we're getting into a fight again. Now it's a matter of who can count better. Because if this is an equal exchange, alright, no harm, no foul. But if it was larger to respond to this, or larger to defend up there, then that's actually quite big. White follows up. Black plays the Hane to sacrifice his stone and stabilize. We Atari. Now we're getting some pretty reasonable shape here. And then Atari. Yep, thought so. And then we can Atari. This stone we don't have to worry about, because if he Atari us, we Atari him, and then we have Sente again. Instead, white is actually going to lean on this group. Huh. Black cuts it off because it has to go to here now if it wants to escape. White turns. Black keeps his investment. White comes in. Black still keeps his investment and makes himself a little bit stronger. Plus, probably gonna have to go back and connect up now. Okay, or not. We're gonna push through here. Alright, am I missing something there? If Black... We Atari... No, I'm fair... Well... I guess it does get messy. Because you Atari connect, Hane, push, extend, and then we're screwed. So no, we're connected here, and that's connected as well, it looks like. Reduction. Defense. Push through. Solid connection, okay. Apparently I was wrong, and that there was in fact something there. Oh, could we have done that instead then? Maybe this wasn't actually the right response. Maybe that was the right response? That way we don't have the Atari? Anyway, white connects now. Black fixes his shape, because they are all about their shape in these games, man. It's another reason why I don't really expect anyone to really be in trouble, because they're always conscious of what shape they're making. They're not trying to get away with playing faster moves that might leave Aji behind. They're all about trying to play nice and solidly and take that territory, it looks like. Fixes his shape. Black connects up. Got some pokes. I'm assuming that we're responding. Yes, okay. Another poke. I assume we respond to that as well. Okay. Another poke. How do we respond to that one? Do we just Hane? Yeah, okay. Ooh, now there's an annoying move. You have to read up multiple disconnections. You have to read what goes here, 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 here. This is the connection that matters most, because this is connected to all of that. White plays the Hane. We're getting into Endgame now. Which now I'm probably going to have absolutely no idea on where the large move is. Probably don't take though, do we? Oh, we do. Follows up. Okay, that's pretty nice. Now it's a pretty solid reduction. White plays the Atari. Black backs off. Connects, so I guess we're gonna fix our shape again. Yep. Forces a connection out of white. That's nice, threatening to save our stone. I like that one too. Nice comment on my channel. Someone said this is the new Assassin's Creed, right? It's like, yes, absolutely. White cuts. I guess we are going to connect up above it. Yeah, okay. Drive it together, and then drop down. Yeah, okay. Whoa, that was not something you want to do. Oh god, where were these stones? This one was here. There we go. Keep separated. Get those eyes. Make sure that's nicely alive. Not bad. More in the corner. That's actually getting quite problematic, isn't it? We've got like attachments, we've got like monkey jumps. How do you handle something like that? We could defend. Alright, we got the Atari first, and then Atari to a double Atari. Okay, yeah, we'll be fine. Okay, we're playing it now. So, take and save our 2 stones. And then black goes back and defends. Wait, what the frack? Oh, alright, there we go. It skipped ahead 2 and threw me off. This reduction, though, seems really, really cool. I mean, this can still be reduced. Going to connect. Oh, for frack's sake. My mouse is like skipping ahead multiple. First white went here. Then black went here. And then we connected. And then with Sente, black drops down. White has to defend. And then we can completely destroy this shape that every 20Q knows that they can do. Because if we Hane, we just get killed. So this is like burned into all of our brains. It's like really, really large. Wow, that's pretty good too. Save stone. I'm thinking I can see why white loses this game. He's just getting shredded. I mean, this turned into nothing. That can be jumped into and turned into nothing. I mean, this is ridiculous. I'd like to say that my endgame is not this bad, but it's probably worse. Connects, connect. Then black jumps in. Holy Christ, he'll probably resign out of depression at that point. Okay. Holy Christ, did I actually pick up a game that goes all the way to endgame? Or goes all the way to counting? I hope not. Defends. Ataris. Takes. Clamps. So black says you're not going to get to Atari the stone. Makes sense. Oops, sorry. That one. There we go. Threatens a connection. Black says no connection. pretty large. There's evil things in the corner otherwise. Threatens to come in. Keeps black out. I would have responded here out of habit, without even thinking about it. But white says, you know what? I'd like these stones even better. I'm not going to respond. Nevertheless, black comes in. Center is definitely turned into nothing now. No chance to Hane through and take back a stone. Similar here. No chance for disconnects or anything weird like that. Reduces the corner some more. Just rubbing that salt into the wounds. Goes back and lives. And that is the end of the game record. Alright, so a couple of things that I liked about this game. Some of the reduction really got my attention. I mean, more than what happened in the beginning and middle games. The exchanges on this side of the board were most noticeable. Up there, also quite noticeable. In terms of things that I didn't think were actually going to happen this game. I mean, when we went back to, let's say, here, for example, I would not have assumed that this was all going to be reduced to nothing. So that obviously takes me by quite a lot of surprise. I mean, I would not have thought that this was just going to be like a 3 or 4 or 5 point corner. So yeah, that was interesting. But I still have that feeling like I never really felt that anything was in danger in this game. In the modern games that we go over, I can almost always point at like, okay, that's gotta watch out because he'll kill you if you're not careful. Or because they do leave Aji in their shape, and you can go, okay, like there's clearly Aji still lingering here. So he's going to be using that to make certain that something else doesn't happen. Here, there's like, I don't know, it's a lot more solid, it seems. But this is just one game. Maybe they're not all like this. I might go over 2 or 3 other games if you guys enjoyed this one. If you didn't, if you are in fact more of a bloodthirsty bunch, do drop me a comment and let me know that as well. I can just as easily go over more fighting games first before I touch any more of these older ones. So it is completely up to you. Drop me a comment if you want to do that. You can also follow me on Twitter if you have not already done so, where I broadcast when I actually start streaming a game like this, in case you actually want to see it played out live. You are welcome to do that as well. That said, I will see you all later, and hopefully next time I won't mess up the second move in the game.